Okay, my name's Amanda. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I'm very glad to be here this morning. And my abstinent date is the 4th of May 2021. And in that time, I've lost just over 3 stone in weight. And this is not my first time in OA. I came into OA in November 2012. And I've sort of been on quite a journey, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a moment, but I'll tell you, the reasons why I know I qualify to sit in this seat today. And I now accept that I'm a compulsive overeater. And growing up, I know from this moment I can remember that I had an obsession with food, especially refined sugar. And that just, continued throughout my life. And I first sort of realized when I was 9 years old, I had a road accident, and I was in hospital for quite a long time, and relatives and friends brought me refined sugar foods, and I saw that as showing me love and comfort. Those foods brought me love and comfort, and I associated love and comfort with those foods for many, many years. And I wasn't able to walk for a year, and I ended up putting on weight, and that's sort of when my battle with my disease really began. And at the age of 12, I was on my first diet, and it was just backwards and forwards, and in and out of different food behaviours for many years after that. And for me, the moment I picked up my binge foods, I couldn't stop. And I could not work out for many, many years why that happened to me. I tried many, many diets, and, I would be successful for a short period of time, but I was really, really white knuckling it. And at the end of those diets, when I'd, lost the weight, I would go back into my compulsive overeating. And I just thought I was a weak person. I had no willpower. I did not realize that I was suffering from an illness, from a disease, and that, nothing I could do was ever going to control that illness, or that, I was never, ever going to control my own eating by my own, under my own steam. And it took me a lot of years and a lot of misery and a lot of pain to come to that, acceptance. And I first came into OA in 2012, and I came in through desperation because I was 19 stone in weight, and I was unhappy. I knew I was very unhealthy. I knew that if I didn't do something about my size, then there'd be a massive problem. I would probably die eventually because I couldn't really get any bigger. So looking back now, I know I came in for the vanity rather than the sanity. And, I came in and I heard the message. I got abstinent from my first meeting, and I lost 7 stone in weight. And all of those things in my life that I hadn't had prior to coming into OA, I started to get back into my life. I met my partner. I was able to ride horses again. I was able to go shopping and fit into normal size clothes. People didn't look at me anymore. I began to feel normal. And I had 4 years of abstinence in OA. And my life got really full and busy. And I decided that I didn't need to come to OA anymore. And so my meetings slowly dropped off. And I didn't work the program. I didn't hear the message. I didn't have a connection to my higher power. I let everything go. And all of the things that I had heard people say in meetings, like they'd stolen their children's food, I'd never done, because at that point, when I first came into OA, I didn't have any children. This time I had stepchildren. And I did just those things. I remember creeping in one Christmas into the kitchen and taking their food and then lying about it. And all of those things that I never thought I'd do, I ended up doing. And I came back to OA, and I would come back for a couple of months. And at the time I came to the Greenwich meeting Saturday morning, and also the Eltham Monday meeting. And I remember coming back in and sharing that I'd relapsed again, and just feeling such guilt and shame that I couldn't get it. And then I'd go a few more months and then I'd relapse again. And in the end, I just felt so much shame about where I was and the fact that I couldn't get it, that I just stopped coming back altogether. And when it came to lockdown, my compulsive overeating, my disease went into free fall. And, you know, I didn't pile on all of the weight that I'd lost, but I did pile on quite a bit more. And emotionally, I was really on the floor. And at the beginning of 2021, I did a diet. And that was the first diet I had done since I'd been in OA the first time around, because I knew that that was insanity and that wouldn't work for me. But with the knowledge of OA, I embarked on a diet and did what I'd always done when I was on diets. I did okay and I white knuckled it. And then at the end of it, I ended up going into compulsive overeating, and I went on a 7-day binge, and I ended up putting on 10 pounds in 7 days. And at the end of that, I came out of it and I just said to myself, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot fight this anymore. This is too painful. It's not just the weight, it's the emotional, spiritual side of this illness that has got me totally on the floor. And I came back to OA. I spoke to somebody from one of my old home groups. She suggested I came to an online meeting in May 21. And I came into that meeting, and I'm so grateful today that I did, because I heard hope. I heard what I needed to hear. I heard that I'm not alone, and I heard that I could keep coming back and that I could get it. And I heard someone share, and I thought, if she puts her number in the chat, I'm going to ask her if she could sponsor me. And not only did she put her number in the chat, she said she was available for sponsorship. So I rang her up the next day, and she sponsored me ever since. And coming back into, you know, what was different this time? Well, I know I have the acceptance that I'm a compulsive overeater today, because I've tried every which way to try not to be, and it hasn't worked. My connection to my higher power had completely gone. You know, before I didn't have a strong connection, and you know, working with my sponsor, you know, this time around, my step 3, I have really got a connection to my higher power today that I've never had before. Before, my life was run on self-will, fear. I wanted to control everything. And today that I know I leave it to my higher power. Life doesn't always go the way that I want it to go, but I know it's where I need to be. And also the other really important thing to mention is, what I didn't realize is when I first came to OA, I had one binge food, which was refined sugar. When I came back, what I identified with my sponsor in my step 1 is actually I had 6 binge foods, and I'd still been eating those for many years. So no wonder that I was relapsing all the time, because I hadn't realized, I hadn't identified, I hadn't mainly been honest. And one thing I've learned this time around is honesty. You know, honesty is the one thing that I need to be honest in this program. I need to be honest with my sponsor. I feel previously I held up my sponsors as my higher power, and you know, today I have my higher power and I have my sponsor, but my sponsor isn't my higher power. And you know, the other thing I didn't do is I didn't really get involved in service last time around. This time I'm involved in service. I do service in 2 meetings. I use the tools. You know, I don't get out of bed in the morning before I've done my prayers and my food plan and my meditation. I sponsor now. I do my action plan. I do my steps 10 and 11, my gratitude list in the evening. And I work to step 12. I reach out to other people and I accept 12, you know, calls from other people as well. And what has happened in the last 21 months is I've got an awareness of myself that I never had before. I have got a relationship with my higher power, who I choose to call God, who I'm so grateful for. because even when, you know, I lost my dad last September. He was given 3 months to live, but he died within a month. And that would have been the prime time.
You've got 5 minutes left.
Thank you. That would have been the prime time for me to make an excuse that I needed my binge foods to go into to comfort myself. I stayed abstinent through that. And I was able to be there with my dad in his last days and comfort him and hold his hand and tell him I loved him and be strong for him. And if I'd been in the food, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And the other thing that my higher power and God has given me in the last 21 months is I was given the gift of, my stepchildren came to live with me just over a year ago. Now, if I'd been in food, that God wouldn't have given that to me. I'm now a full-time mum, and I can pass on what I've learned in these rooms to those children. And I'm responsible for them today, and I have their love today, and that is priceless. And in July, I'm getting married for the first time. And that is a miracle. My partner's been through quite a lot with me with him. And we're getting married and going to choose my wedding dress last October. It was okay. It was a wonderful experience. I'd thought about if when I get married, will I look fat in my wedding dress? I went and tried on a wedding dress and I looked lovely in it. And, I've got confidence that, today I feel comfortable in my own skin. And, the miracle that I never thought I'd get married, and I am, and I'm so grateful. And it's, to have someone in your life that you love and gives you love is just such an amazing thing. And I met him after coming into OA the first time. So OA has given me really the gift of family, the gift of love, the gift of, acceptance of myself and of my disease. And the other beautiful thing that I've had back in the last 21 months is I'm able to ride my horse again. I wasn't able to previously because I had a nasty fall, and then I put weight on. I was too big for him. And last October, sort of 5 months into, not last October, the October before, 5 months into my recovery, I was able to get back on my horse again. And that's just been such, an emotional experience and bond with him. And I'm so grateful to OA for giving me another chance at life, for giving me the tools to cope with life today. And, to know that I'm not alone. I don't have to suffer with this illness on my own, and there is a solution. And, I'm really grateful today for that. And I'm grateful to everyone being here. And it's nice to see some faces that I recognise from a few years back as well, because, I know it works. And I know that with, God by my side and the fellowship, that life is good. And I don't need to go back to where I was before. I don't need to go back into relapse. Today, I know that I know the answer. And the biggest thing for me has been acceptance of my condition. And for that, I'm really grateful. I have beaten myself up in the past about, or if I'd not relapsed, I would have been over 10 years abstinent, but that hasn't been my journey. That hasn't been what my higher power had planned for me. And maybe my experience is here to help other people who may find themselves in the same situation, and know that there is hope and it does work, and keep coming back. And I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for asking me to share.